Hi everyone, welcome to yet another installment of English 102, the remote version. In this video, I'm going to be talking with you a little bit about our final assignment, our final project for our class this semester. We are moving into our final unit, which is our qualitative research unit, and our TA, Christine, already gave us a brief introduction to qualitative research, telling us a little bit about what it is, why we use it, and when we should and should not use it. So this video is going to be me just kind of telling you a little bit about this assignment that we're going to be doing for our class. And I just want to begin by saying a little bit about how we're going to kind of, I'm switching things up a little bit. First, I'm moving away from focusing on environmental communication for this assignment. I know that's the focus of our course, but I feel that the coronavirus pandemic has kind of become all-encompassing in all of our lives. So why not use it as the focus for our research for this final project? So we're going to do that, right? And typically, when we're doing a qualitative research project, we start from the beginning and collect our own data, and we develop a research question, then we collect data, then we analyze that data, and then we do a write-up of our findings in a polished, nuanced, insightful report. Well, we don't have time to do all of that, so we're not going to do all of that. And I'm going to pull up our assignment sheet, and I'm going to kind of walk us through this assignment. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so on my screen, you'll see my instructor view of our week 14 Introduction to Qualitative Research and Mini-Qualitative Research Report, which is our assignment. So I'm going to click on our Mini-Qualitative Research Report, and here is our assignment guidelines, right? So we are, like I just said, we are not going to be doing all of these steps for this project, right? Instead, we're going to start around step 3, right? Maybe a little bit of step 2, but really step 3 and step 4. So because we don't have time to develop our own research questions and really collect our own original data using observations, surveys, and interviews, we're going to use questions and data that's been generated by the New York Times Learning Network through their student opinion question site. So the New York Times, this is what we're doing, right? We're going to select and analyze a conversation that high school students in America and around the world are having in response to a student opinion question in the New York Times Learning Network. And this network is used by middle school and high school teachers and students. And its main purpose is to give students a voice about current issues and events that are happening in the world. The student opinion questions invite students to read a Times article and respond with their own ideas. So many high school teachers are using these questions as part of their classes now, especially since so many schools have moved online. And the daily student opinion questions, they cover a range of issues and topics, from social media and college admissions to gun violence and gender roles. Now, recently, as events surrounding COVID-19 began unfolding in the United States, the Times began asking questions to learn what students are saying about living during a pandemic. So because you are all students who are living during a pandemic, we are stepping away from our course theme of environmental communication and instead focusing on questions that engage this current event, right? So for this assignment is you're going to pick one question that interests you from the following list of 6 student opinion options, and you'll use that question as the research question and the data that was generated through the answers to that question to analyze for your mini-qualitative research report. Your goal for this project will be to identify patterns and trends in students' responses, to try to explain the reasons for those responses, and to reflect on how your own responses to the questions posed in the option you selected compare to the responses of the high school students that you analyzed. So here's how we'll do what we're doing, right? There's a 4-step process that I've kind of laid out for us that we'll follow from now until the end of the semester. So our first step is to pick your question. And here are the following 6 options that you can choose from to use as the focus for your mini-qualitative research report. We've got option 1, how concerned are you about the coronavirus pandemic? Option 2, how is the coronavirus outbreak affecting your life? Option 3, is the coronavirus pandemic bringing your extended family closer together? Option 4, what role should celebrities have during the coronavirus crisis? Option 5, has your school switched to remote learning? How is it going so far? And option 6, how can we help one another during the coronavirus outbreak? So you'll select one of those 6 options to use as the question for your mini-qualitative research report. And after you pick, you'll go to step 2. You'll read the article and the student responses to your question, because all of the data that you're going to use to analyze for this mini-qualitative research report is going to be the student responses to your student opinion question. So it's important that you read the article and that that sets up the question and all the student responses to that question. And the responses are located in the comment section of the article. So let's take a look. Say, for example, I wanted to use for my paper, option 4, what role should celebrities have during the coronavirus pandemic? So I click on it and it takes me here. And this is the landing page for this question. And so we'll see, you can see that it's set up first by giving the question, and then it moves into a little bit of information about what's going on. It tells us a little bit about what celebrities have been doing during this coronavirus pandemic. The article that is attached to this student opinion question it's called Celebrity Culture is Burning by Amanda Hess. And we get some quotes coming from that article about what some celebrities are doing during the coronavirus pandemic. Like they're, sharing videos from their homes, telling us to stay positive, that we're all in this together. And the author of the article is questioning whether or not that's, just how good that really is. Mainly because celebrities have so much money and power and they can stay in their homes that are, typically very well-to-do, and speaking to us from those homes, telling us what to do. It seems a little bit like people could get upset with that. So this particular article is talking all about that. And after it gives the quote from the article, it gives instructions for what the student responders are supposed to do in response to this question. It says, students read the entire article and then tell us the answers to the following questions. Right? And every article is set up like this, right? You start out with the main question here, which for our purposes will serve as our research question that we will use the student responses to try to answer. So it starts out with that question. It gives us a little introduction to the issue. Then it introduces us to the article that is the focus of the student opinion question. It gives us a quote from that. And then it asks for student responses to these 2 certain questions in relation to the topic. And you can find the answers in the comments. So, and the comments are located in 3 places. You can click here to read the comments. You can come up here and you'll see this little, comment thing up here, and then also over here. So if you click on the that little comment box, all the comments will pop up to your right in this comment bar over here. And you can scroll down and just start reading some of the responses that students are giving to the questions that they're being asked. And again, these answers are going to serve as the basis for your analysis for your mini qualitative research report. So this is how you'll go about starting steps 1 and 2 for our project, right? Picking your question and then reading the article and the student responses to your question. Once you read through all of the high school students' responses, you'll start working to make sense of this data through a process called coding, right? And coding is where you start to look across your data, the answers that the students gave for patterns, similarities, differences, and relationships to better understand what high school students think and believe about living during a pandemic and why they might think and believe these things. So coding is what's going to help you make meaning out of the information that you are collecting from these student responses. And it's also going to help you identify potential insights into and explanations for high school students' experiences, perceptions, and beliefs in regards to the student opinion question that you picked. After you do your coding and you start analyzing, you identify patterns and trends in the data, you're going to move to step 4, which is you're going to write your mini qualitative research report. And this report is going to be it's just like this whole project is a stripped down version of a standard qualitative research project for a 102 class. Our paper is a kind of a stripped down bare bones version of a qualitative research report. So while you will keep the general format of a standard qualitative research report, it's going to be shorter and involve less work on your part. So you'll still have 5 sections in your qualitative research report. You'll have the intro, the methods, the results, the discussion and reflection, and a works cited page, right? And each of these gives a little bit more information about what these sections will entail. But basically, your report is going to provide your readers with some context, background information about the situation that is happening in terms of the coronavirus, and about the current, the student opinion question that you chose from the list and why you chose it. That's your intro. In your method section, you'll describe the steps that you took to complete this process. And this is just going to be a really brief explanation of your primary research process. For us, it is just going to be, I selected this article from a list, and then I started reading the comments and organizing them into groups, looking for trends and patterns. Then you'll move into your results, where you'll describe what you found. This is where you will kind of organize your results in terms of the major patterns that you discovered in your analysis of the student responses to your student opinion question. And finally, in section 4, this is going to be your discussion and reflection. That's where you present your own interpretation of your results. So you'll talk a little bit about some of the conclusions you think that you can make about high school students' experiences, perceptions, and beliefs in regards to the question that you picked. And then you'll also talk a little bit about how your own responses to the questions that were asked in that student's opinion compare to the responses of the high school students that you analyzed. And then you'll have a works cited page, right? So this project is, again, kind of, it's going to be shorter and less research intensive. You're not going to be required to use secondary sources. You'll focus on the primary data, or the data that you got from the high school student responses. So again, 3 to 4 pages. You'll use MLA format, and this will be due on Sunday, May 3rd by 11:59 p.m. So this week, we're going to be focusing on steps 1 and 2. Our discussion board is going to get you thinking about your question that you want to answer, and then reading the article and the student responses. And then next week, I'll talk a little bit about how we kind of analyze, we collect the data that we want and how we analyze it. Then in the following week, we'll talk about writing up our data, and then you'll write up your report and you'll be done. You'll be done with this assignment and you'll be done with this class. So everybody, just please keep hanging in there, keep doing what you're doing. If you need any help, if you have any questions, if you're kind of backed up, if you've been missing assignments, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, because I am here to help you. I really understand during this time that everybody's stressed out, everybody has a lot going on in their lives, and as an instructor during this pandemic, I feel like it is one of my responsibilities to be flexible and to help you in any way that I possibly can. So I am here for you, and please reach out if you need me.